Kurokami, a name whispered with fear and trepidation. The town was shrouded in perpetual twilight, a thick fog clinging to its crooked streets. Time seemed to stand still. Clocks, frozen at 3:13 a.m., adorned every corner, their silence deafening. The air hung heavy with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. It was a place forgotten by time, haunted by secrets whispered on the wind. The townsfolk, their faces etched with a strange melancholy, spoke in hushed tones. Their eyes, filled with a mixture of fear and resignation, followed every stranger. Strangers rarely came to Kurokami. Those who did never stayed long, driven away by the pervasive sense of dread that permeated every stone, every shadow. But the town was not always this way. Legends spoke of a time when Kurokami was a vibrant hub, its inhabitants known for their craftsmanship and joyful spirits. What had happened to transform this once lively town into a desolate shell? Yuki Aoyama stepped off the dilapidated bus, her breath catching in her throat. The air was thick with an unnatural stillness, a silence so profound it seemed to hum in her ears. She clutched her backpack, her heart pounding with a mixture of apprehension and curiosity. Yuki had come to Kurokami searching for answers. Answers about her past, about the recurring dreams that plagued her nights. Dreams of shadowy figures, of a clock face forever frozen at 3:13 a.m., and a name whispered on the wind. Kurokami. The town was just as she had pictured it in her dreams. The buildings were old, their wooden facades warped and weathered, their windows like vacant eyes staring out into the mist. A shiver ran down her spine. The silence was broken only by the cawing of crows, their black silhouettes circling overhead like harbingers of doom. Days turned into weeks as Yuki tried to unravel the mysteries of Kurokami. She rented a small room above the local tea house, its windows overlooking the town square, where a large ornate clock stood frozen at the ominous hour. The townsfolk, though outwardly polite, seemed reluctant to speak about the town's past. Their words were evasive, their eyes filled with a strange mixture of fear and pity whenever Yuki mentioned the stopped clocks or the perpetual fog. One evening, while exploring the attic of the tea house, Yuki stumbled upon a hidden compartment beneath the floorboards. Inside, she found a leather-bound journal, its pages filled with frantic scribbles and chilling sketches. The journal belonged to a clockmaker who had lived in Kurokami centuries ago. His entries spoke of a dark secret, a ritual gone wrong, and a place called the Hollow, a realm where time stood still. The clockmaker's journal became Yuki's obsession. She pored over its pages, piecing together the fragments of a forgotten tragedy. The clockmaker believed that time was not linear but cyclical, a wheel constantly turning. He had discovered a way to manipulate time, to enter the hollow and retrieve lost souls. But the ritual was dangerous, requiring a sacrifice of unimaginable magnitude. The clockmaker's sketches depicted a ritual site located deep within the surrounding forest, marked by an ancient shrine and a circle of 13 gnarled trees. Yuki felt a strange pull towards the forest. It was as if something was calling to her, urging her to uncover the truth. The clockmaker's warnings echoed in her mind, but her curiosity, fueled by the mysteries of her own past, outweighed her fear. Section 5. Echoes of the Past. Yuki's dreams intensified. She saw flashes of the ritual, felt the terror of the sacrificed souls trapped within the hollow. In her dreams, she was not herself but a witness to a tragedy that had occurred centuries ago. One dream in particular haunted her. She saw a young woman with long black hair and piercing eyes, her face contorted in agony as she was dragged towards the ritual site. The woman's eyes met Yuki's, and in that brief moment, Yuki felt a surge of recognition, a chilling kinship. Yuki began to experience strange occurrences while awake. She could have sworn she saw shadowy figures lurking at the edge of her vision, their whispers like the rustling of dead leaves. The townsfolk, their faces now etched with open suspicion, began to avoid her. Driven by her dreams and the clockmaker's journal, Yuki ventured into the forest. The air grew colder, the silence deeper, as she followed the overgrown path towards the ritual site. The trees, their branches twisted and gnarled, seemed to reach out towards her with skeletal fingers. She found the shrine, just as the clockmaker had described it. It was ancient and weathered, its stone surface covered in moss and lichen. The air around it hummed with a strange energy, a palpable sense of dread. As she touched the cold stone, the wind picked up, swirling around her like a living thing. She saw the circle of 13 trees, their branches swaying rhythmically as if dancing to a silent, macabre melody. And then she saw it, a pool of blood at the base of the shrine, still fresh, still glistening in the moonlight. Panic surged through Yuki. She stumbled back, her heart pounding in her chest. The forest seemed to close in on her, the trees pressing closer, their branches like grasping claws. She turned to run but tripped, falling to the ground. As she lay there, catching her breath, she noticed something strange. The shadows around her were lengthening, twisting, taking on the shapes of human figures. The shadowy figures circled her, their forms shifting and swirling like smoke. She could hear their whispers, mournful and accusing, echoing all around her. They were the lost souls trapped within the hollow, their voices reaching out from beyond the veil of time. Terror threatened to consume her, but then she saw her, the woman from her dreams. She stood at the edge of the circle, her eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and pity. The woman from Yuki's dreams reached out a hand. "It's time for you to remember," she whispered, her voice echoing through the trees. "Remember who you are." Yuki stared at the woman's hand, her mind reeling. Images flashed before her eyes, the ritual, the sacrifice, the terror of being pulled into the hollow. And then she remembered. She was not Yuki Aoyama. She was the soul of the woman in her dreams, trapped within the hollow for centuries. The memories, the dreams, the strange occurrences. They were not her own but echoes of the past, bleeding through the veil of time. The hollow had chosen her, drawn her to Kurakami, to this very spot, to awaken her true self. But why? As the realization washed over her, Yuki felt a strange sense of peace. She was home in a way. This was where she belonged, among the lost souls of the hollow. She stood, her body trembling with newfound purpose. She would free them. She would find a way to break the curse that bound them to this place. The woman from her dreams smiled sadly. "There is no escape from the hollow," she whispered, "but there can be peace." Yuki looked around at the shadowy figures, their forms shimmering in the moonlight. She understood. She was not meant to escape. She was meant to guide them, to help them find peace in their eternal existence. And so, Yuki Aoyama, or rather the soul that had once inhabited that name, embraced her fate. She became the guardian of the hollow, her voice joining the whispers of the lost, her presence a beacon in the darkness, forever bound to the town of Kurakami and its chilling secret.